Welcome back to another episode of What'd He Say? In this episode, we're going to cover the final portion of the song Set Trippin', specifically Maceso3rd's portion for this fellow on the left. So let's get into it and see. What'd he say?
Frontline pressing, who is you, grip the steel.
So you have to remember the front line for these individuals is the street. It is the neighborhood. That's their front line. That's their war zone often. There's gang wars, there's rivals at times, and so this is their front line. They're in it. Potentially individuals are coming into their territory, and they don't know who those individuals are, so they start pressing them. They're doing their due diligence. They're asking, who are you? Who is you? So they're out there on the front line. They're pressing individuals. Potentially they're going into another territory and pressing individuals. And they're saying, who are you? And they're gripping steel. They're gripping the gun. They have a firearm on them. So not only are they out there doing due diligence to understand what's going on around them and gather information, but they're also ready to act, even if that means act violently.
Opposites and suckers, they ain't never slid, nigga. Lying in they raps, fuck the fame, little nigga.
So what does that mean? These suckers, obviously, are someone who, it's someone who's not living up to his standard, not living up to his expectations. They never slid. What does it mean to slide? That means partaking in gang activities, driving around, throwing up gang signs, letting people know who you are, or maybe partaking in more illicit activities such as maybe robberies or potentially a drive-by shooting or even a homicide, So these people, these suckers, they ain't never slid. They've never partaken in gang activities. They're lying and they're ratting. So these suckers, it's not just that they're neutral, but these suckers are actually working against the gang. They're feeding information or misinformation to law enforcement to trip these gang members up and to get them caught up into maybe certain legal cases or get them into trouble.
Got some hitters on the east in the city by the sea. Got problem shoppers hungry, they gon' eat, you gon' bleed.
Now the hitters are the gang members or associates of the gang. These are soldiers that are ready to hit. They're ready to do damage, whether that be with potentially their fists, maybe some type of weapon. It could be a bat. It could be a knife. Or it could even be a gun. They are actually ready to do some damage. Got some hitters in the east in a city by the sea. So that's Long Beach. That's their city. He says, you got problems. Chopper's hungry. So if you got problems, there's a hungry chopper. Now the chopper is an automatic machine gun. It's an automatic weapon. These choppers are hungry. They're going to eat. You're going to bleed. So if you have a problem, you may be getting hit. The chopper's got an appetite. And you may be the one that's going to get eaten, as they're going to eat. You may want to think twice about your approach if you have any problems with these guys. Just saying.
Niggas pillow talking, you can catch me on my street. Drop your location, gang, slide with some three.
Pillow talking refers to when you're intending to put someone to sleep or to put someone to bed, to put their head on a pillow. And this isn't any bedtime story here either. This isn't a happy bedtime story. They're talking about putting someone to sleep for good. They're conspiring to murder, right? So Maceso's saying, there's people out there, fellas are out there conspiring to murder. They're pillow talking. And you can catch me on my street. Although he knows that there are people plotting against him, he's going to stay on his street and they can catch him there. He's not going to hide. So these gang members are out there. They know what the risks are, but they're ready to confront the risks and defend themselves. He's not going to hide under a rock or anything like that. And he says, drop the location, gang slide with some threes. So it's almost as if he's saying, not only can you catch me on my street, but I'm going to drop the location. I'm going to let you know where my street is. As if he's dropping a pin on a Google map. And then he asks his gang members in the background to drop the location, to gang slide with some threes. So partake in some gang activities, throw up some threes, put the threes up, or the gang signs. So you can see them putting up some signs in the background, and you may think, hey, what's going on with these individuals? Are these folks all potentially partaking in some extracurricular activities at a youth center to learn American Sign Language or something? Is this ASL they're throwing up in the background? And I can assure you that these signs, although these individuals may be learning ASL on the side, these signs represent the gang. These are gang signs. There's not American Sign Language. So drop some threes. This sign represents the hood. Maybe it's the west side. Maybe it's the east side. It could be 3rd Street. It could be any type of reference related to their neighborhood. But actually, These signs differ by locality. So each gang, depending on where they're from, has their own gang signs to represent their own hood. So keep that in mind.
Kiss it out your mouth, nigga, if you don't want no beats. Waistline or the hands knock out your teeth.
So the set is almost a division of the gang. Every gang has many different sets depending on the area of the neighborhood or the neighborhood that you grow up in. There's a different set for the gang that you may join. So he's saying, don't talk about the set that I'm from. Don't talk about the division of the gang I'm from unless you want beef. So pretty much they're saying simply, keep your mouth closed. If you don't want no beef, if you don't want no trouble. He says, hands at your waistline, knock out your teeth. So even if you're a pacifist and you have your hands at your waistline, you got your hands on your waist. You're not even intending any certain, threat. You don't want to portray a threat. You're coming peacefully. Maybe you just want to have a friendly debate or a conversation. But he's saying, keep your mouth closed unless you want problems. Even if your intent is just friendly discussion or debate, if you open your mouth, you're going to have a problem. And even if you're a pacifist with your hands by your waist, he might knock out your teeth if you have a problem with him. So this could turn south for you very quickly, and you could end up with your teeth knocked out and potentially, needing to pay for some expensive dental bills, maybe even going in for dental surgery. So keep that in mind. You may not want a problem with this guy.
Just want the money, fuck the fame, alright. But in the field, I'm said tripping, that's a fact. I just want money, fuck the fame, your ass. Probably on your block, Mace3rd with the strap.
Let's get into this because this is actually kind of deep. He lays out his priorities in the beginning. He says he just wants the money. He's not interested in fame. Now you have to realize that everyone needs money to survive, right? Money is going to be able to secure resources that we need to support ourselves and our families, our loved ones. So these gang members, they're no different, right? These gang members need to pursue opportunity that will yield resources. And for a lot of these individuals, the streets provide that opportunity. There may not be so much opportunity out there. But in the field or in the streets, he's set tripping. That's a fact. So set tripping indicates violent results from two gang members or two rival gangs clashing with each other. You can see here that he has the gun out. So he's saying out in the field, in the streets, he's set tripping. That's a fact. So he is clashing with other gangs. He is going head to head with other gangs. He's gang banging. He's set tripping. That's a fact. So he's partaking in certain illicit activities or untoward activities. He's doing things that maybe he knows are immoral. But he just really needs that money to be able to support himself and then maybe his loved ones and his family. So keep that in mind that, these individuals, at the end of the day, they're really just looking to secure resources. Whether the means to those ends are justified or not is another topic for debate. And that's just to give you the perspective of where they're coming from. He says, probably on your street, makes 3 with the strap at the end there. So, whether or not he's the individual on your street, there are similar individuals spread out throughout the world engaging in illicit activities to be able to secure an income. Because that is the opportunity in their life. And whether that's correct or not, whether that's justified or not, you got to keep in mind that these individuals, there could be someone like him on your street. And they could have a strap as well. They could have a gun. At the end of the day, these folks are just trying to make a living. You can see him right there with a gun. So he's probably engaging in illicit activities to be able to secure that type of income and that lifestyle that he's able to provide due to living a gang life.
You see me thugging, baby. You see the way I do.
So there you have it. This episode, we heard from Maceso3rd, but in the previous episodes, we'd heard from Big Myke on the right and Cutty Banks in the middle. I want to drop a special note. Recently, Cutty Banks passed away. He's a victim of the streets. He's gunned down. And that's often, something that comes. That's a risk of the life. Part of this perpetual cycle of violence that goes into gang life. This is one of the issues, is that violence begets violence. And you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So whether Cutty Banks, karma led to this or not, to see a life pass, is not a good thing, especially at a young age. Especially when you're aspiring to make a difference in the community. You can see that he's gotten together, a group of individuals. There was some food in the shots, potentially providing some food and having a nice, field day, for instance. To that end, rest in peace, Cutty Banks. And dedicated to Cutty Banks, we're going to put out a special feature going over a concept of ops, or opposition. And what did that mean for Cutty Banks? How did that impact him? So until next time, thanks for watching. Rest in peace, Cutty.
Baseball cap, backwood thicker than a baseball bat. Say you in the field, why you ain't bust back, bust back. You see me thuggin', baby. You see the way I do. I fucks with gangsters, baby.